Should the EU form its own army? The concept of a European army was first proposed in the 1950s but never gained significant traction. However, in recent years, the idea of a joint military has resurfaced, driven by the urgent need for Europe to bolster its defenses against Russia, which is actively seeking to reshape the continent's post-Cold War order through aggressive military actions. As tensions escalate, particularly in light of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, one might conclude that the notion of an EU military and defense policy could finally gain momentum, especially with the recent release of a comprehensive defense industrial strategy and the proposal to appoint a European Commissioner for Defense. Nevertheless, skepticism remains, as history shows that similar initiatives have often hit dead ends. In this discussion, we will explore whether the EU should establish its own army and the potential benefits it could bring to the European community. As we delve into this complex topic, we encourage you to stay tuned and watch until the end. Broader public involvement. The development of a new European military infrastructure necessitates broader public involvement and should not be viewed merely as an elite initiative. It is crucial for politicians and military experts to engage the public actively, allowing these decisions to be part of a larger political dialogue. One compelling reason for public involvement is that establishing a European army will require substantial financial investment and a significant increase in personnel. US President Donald Trump rightly pointed out that many European NATO members have primarily benefited from US military spending. A European defense force that is less reliant on American support will necessitate increased military spending at the national level. Despite rising defense budgets across the EU, most NATO members still fall short of the 2% GDP threshold they agreed to during the NATO summit in 2014. As of 2024, only around 11 of the 30 NATO countries meet this commitment. This funding cannot be diverted to other priorities and must be justified and accounted for. Consequently, the rationale behind military spending must be clearly articulated and defended to the public as part of the political discourse. Furthermore, since the EU will require a larger pool of recruits for the armed forces, significant efforts must be made to enhance the appeal of military careers to potential enlistees. Why an EU army may not be the best idea. While the idea of creating an EU army may seem appealing, there are significant drawbacks. A European Union military could reduce operational costs, create economies of scale, and eliminate bureaucratic inefficiencies. Additionally, a joint military force might enhance credibility, competence, and overall effectiveness in combat situations. However, the EU is composed of diverse nation-states, each with its own unique military traditions, strategic priorities, and perspectives on the use of force. If such a military were to be established, governance could become contentious, with member states like France, Germany, and Hungary potentially clashing over differing approaches to military engagement, attitudes toward Russia, or the provision of arms in specific conflicts. In scenarios where the lives of thousands of citizens are at stake, it is difficult to imagine that Berlin, Paris, or Warsaw would be willing to deploy their soldiers under an EU flag without retaining ultimate veto power over such decisions. This could lead to endless disputes, deep-seated divisions, and an erosion of the original intent behind forming an EU army. Future of European security. Recently, European politicians have begun to express their concerns about the future of European security and the role of NATO more openly. This dialogue has gained urgency amid the ongoing geopolitical upheaval and the prospect of Donald Trump seeking a second term in office, during which his criticisms of NATO have only intensified. According to Ivo Dulder, a former U.S. ambassador to NATO, a second Trump presidency may not spell the end of the alliance, but it would undoubtedly transform it, compelling Europeans to take greater responsibility for their own defense. During his first term, Trump notably refrained from affirming NATO's Article 5, suggesting that the U.S. may not come to the aid of an allied nation if it were attacked. Trump's approach prompted then-German Chancellor Angela Merkel to assert that Europe must prepare to defend itself independently. Fast forward to the current geopolitical landscape, and Europe finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with the implications of Russia's ongoing aggression, particularly in Ukraine. The continent is still deliberating its next steps as the world watches closely. Do you think the EU should form its army? We invite you to share your insights and thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more updates.